I got into a heated argument with my husband again. I guess I'm not the loving partner I thought I was. I snapped at my kids and raised my voice in a moment of tension instead of calmly responding and shifting the energy. I guess I'm not a good mother anymore. I made a mistake at work. I didn't word that email the way I should have. My presentation bombed. I guess I just suck at my job. I wasn't there for my friend when she needed me after that really hard time she had. I was too busy cooking, dancing, on the phone with someone else. I guess I'm a bad friend. I said the wrong thing. I guess I don't know what to say. I wasn't there at that family gathering. I guess I'm not a family person. What my husband said on my last episode about feeling like we don't deserve love because of our mistakes really hit hard. And you probably heard me say in that episode that as a perfectionist, I can absolutely relate. And that's what this episode is all about. It's going deeper into where does this all or nothing, I messed up so I don't deserve, come from? And then I'm going to follow it with, what can we do about it? What are some solutions? No surprise, it's going to be all about a perspective shift, but a truthful perspective shift. And the truth has a lot of power to change and inspire and motivate. So if you're someone who's ever felt some of the things that I was listing at the beginning of this episode, just 30 seconds ago or so, if you've ever felt those things, this episode is for you. If you're someone who struggles when you make a mistake, you struggle to feel like you deserve love or your dreams or another shot after you make a mistake, this episode is for you. Or even if you just maybe need to look at the world a little bit differently to get some hope about whether or not positive change is happening, both inside you and for the rest of the world, this episode is for you too. So like I said, I'm going to start with the mistakes, kind of breaking down what does this look like when you feel like you're defined by your mistakes, not just one, but all of them, right? And what could it look like if you saw yourself differently, if you saw life differently, if there was a different perspective on what mistakes mean, on the way the world moves? That's what I'm going to conclude with. But let's start with the mistakes. All of the things that I listed at the beginning are things that I've felt, right? I got into another heated argument when I promised myself I wouldn't again. Oh, I lost my temper with my kids. Oh, I messed up at work. I worded that email wrong. I sent it when I was in a high state of emotion. Oh, shit, I can't take that back now. Now, while there are some things that we can never take back, right, especially the things that we put in writing, and we should always be careful about what we say and do and take a few breaths or give it some time before responding if we find that we're in an emotionally heated moment. Accountability is absolutely a thing, right? We should be held accountable for our mistakes. We should have consequences for our mistakes. But we shouldn't have shame for our mistakes. To go a little bit deeper, I'm going to get really vulnerable with you here. When I let my emotions get the best of me and I get angry or sad with some people who I love and some people who I don't love, but I got a lot of tension with, when I get into it, when they get under my skin and when I'm upset with them, I often get angry at myself after moments of high emotion. I follow high emotion with more high emotion towards myself. Like, oh, why'd you let it get to you? Oh, why did you say that? Why didn't you just hold back? You should have just, And then I kind of beat myself up. And often, if I get into an argument with my husband or someone I love, I think, well, good job, Jenna. You preach about peace. You preach about this inner light. And look at you going and getting mad again. Yeah, you really deserve love. No, you don't. Look at you. You can't even maintain peace for a 48-hour span. What's the matter with you? Or, wow, you had a really bad day. You snapped on your kids. You wasted your day. You were binging instead of writing, like binge watching TV. Oh man, you ate that cake when you know that sugar really hurts your stomach. Way to live peacefully, way to really promote this living your best life thing that you're all about. And then you kind of just spiral, right? You run over in your head all the things you did and should have done, or, this negative self-talk starts about all the things that you don't deserve. And you feel like if you try to overlook that, then you're just letting yourself off easy. Nope, you need to feel it. You need to feel how bad you messed up. Otherwise, you're just going to do it again. And there's this shame cycle, right? That we have to be trapped in shame to sort of atone for whatever it is that we did. Now, I don't know the origins of all of this, right? Like, I don't know where all of this shame cycling comes from. I think that Tom was right in that some of it comes from parents. Not necessarily any particular set of parents, but often how parenting is done in the Western world, right? You mess up, you get punished, or you don't feel like you're loved through your mistakes. And mistakes aren't well rewarded in Western cultures in general either, right? We're an achievement-based culture. So it's like if you make a mistake, you don't reach your goal, well, you're punished for it, right? Maybe you don't get that bonus you were supposed to get. Oh, you got an F and you had to retake that class. Whatever it might be. The learning involved is not a factor, right? Mistakes are seen as if we've done something wrong. And like I said, there should be some accountability with these pieces, but it goes much deeper. So here's another reason why I think we have this, I made a mistake, I don't deserve culture. Certainly it is the way that parenting is done, right? It's that, we're kind of taught like you do something wrong, you're punished. Everything I just said, that achievement-based kind of Western culture, I messed up, I don't deserve, It's that achievement-based culture. But I think the other reason why we cycle through, this whole mistake mindset of I messed up, I don't deserve love, I don't deserve my dreams, I don't deserve this, is because of separation. And what I mean by that is separation from all that makes us human and separation from each other. This is where I'm going to go a little deeper and say something that you maybe haven't heard before, okay? So let's say you are in an argument with your partner or somebody else who you love, and you get mad, you feel abandoned, or you feel not like you're not heard, or you feel like you just can't believe the nerve of what they did, and everything starts firing in your brain. The reality of our emotional reactions are that it's never just about the thing that's happening in the moment. The thing might be the trigger, but the beautiful thing about human beings is that we are vast. We carry so much history and knowledge in both our souls and our brains. So when we're having a high emotional reaction, we're reacting from the DNA that's been downloaded, something we don't have any control over, right? We're reacting from some of our biological predispositions that we were born with, the DNA passed down by our biological ancestors. That's part of what's causing our reaction. Our reaction is also caused by feelings we had in childhood, of feeling abandoned, feeling unsafe, feeling unheard, that we aren't even consciously aware that we're feeling, right? We've talked about that in past episodes too, where most of our brain development in terms of attachment styles and our general feeling on the world and whether it's safe or not is developed by age 4 or 5, right? We don't even know all of this subconscious stuff that we learned in childhood, because very few of us can remember certain things from when we were 4 or 5 years old. And when we're in arguments or moments of high emotion, all of those things, both our DNA downloads and our subconscious memories, and then, you can add memories that you got while getting older, into your teenage years, things that happened then, all of it is kind of reacting at once. And because our subconscious is so vast and we don't know what's floating around in there, there's lots going on in the heat of the moment that we don't understand, that we're not always aware of. And so when I talk about mistakes or feeling like we messed up, and part of the reason is separation from ourselves, is because we don't fully understand everything we're reacting to in the moment, that we're carrying the reactions of our ancestors, that we're carrying the reactions of our little 4 and 5-year-old selves, our teenage selves, and ourselves in the present moment. That is a lot going on at once. And when you recognize that you have all this history that you're carrying in your soul and in your brain, maybe you'll give yourself a little bit more grace when you respond to something because of everything that's firing in there. Recognizing, hey, I'm a vast being. There's a lot going into this reaction that I'm having right now. What serves me best in this moment? Starting to ask ourselves those questions will help us sometimes calm down in the moment or sometimes understand our mistakes. Now, when it comes to things like, not wording an email the way that we wanted to, maybe it's not a heated argument with a loved one, there's also lots of things we've learned about how to communicate, right? Whether that's written communication or spoken communication. And we have all of those memories of what's right and wrong. And, people can say all they want, separate work and home. It doesn't work that way. I'm all for being professional, but we can't just cut off who we are when we go to work. And whether or not we want to admit it, the way that we're feeling about our home life or the way that we're feeling about ourselves absolutely impacts our work. Human beings aren't meant to compartmentalize things like that. And so when you maybe word something the way you don't mean to, maybe you've got this deep-seated thing of I just want to be good enough. I want to be accepted as I am. I want my ideas to be accepted. And maybe you fuck up a word or two and then you think, oh shit. Oh, I messed it up. Oh, I'm not the employee they thought I was. All of it's connected. Work-home life separation isn't really a thing when it comes to your subconscious. Human beings don't work that way. So give yourself some grace there too, because for a lot of us, our work is very important to us. Whether we're doing something we believe in or we need to put food on the table, our work is part of our livelihood. So everything you are is going into those emails you write, those choices you make, that presentation that you're doing, because it matters, because you need your job to survive, or because you need, the passion of your work to find your purpose. So your subconscious is at work there too, even if you're not aware of it. So separation from ourselves, separation from the recognition that we are vast beings, is another reason why I think we're so hard on ourselves when we make mistakes. We don't realize that we have a whole galaxy inside of us that's responding to the present moment. And sometimes, and I'm kind of getting into the tips for how to fix it early, sometimes just telling yourself, I am vast. And recognizing all that you're holding inside you, in your beautiful, strong body and brain, just recognizing that vastness in the heat of the moment will help you. Just honoring all that you're carrying when you react to things or when you make mistakes. Okay? So when you make mistakes and you say the wrong thing or you feel the emotion you really didn't want to feel, or you react out of anger, you react out of whatever it might be, you're trying to manage all of that vastness. Likely you were being vulnerable, because if you're emotional about something, that means that you were vulnerable first, right? That means that you were in a position where you put yourself, you loved someone vulnerably and honestly, which is the best way to love people. If you're feeling embarrassed at work, that's because you care. You put yourself in a vulnerable position where you care about how you communicate and how you're presenting, and it matters to you. You have a stake in it. If you made a mistake, that means you're being real, you're being vulnerable, you're trying. So we deserve some grace there too. So separation from self, that's where part of this whole being hard on ourselves about our mistakes comes from. Here's the other place that I think separation comes into how we process mistakes. I think we are separated from our connection to the earth, our connection to each other, and everything that life is actually supposed to be. And what I mean by that is that when we mess up, when we make a mistake, all we can see is our fuck up in that moment. Very left brain stuff. A plus B equals C. I messed up here, plus I messed up here. So the equals there is I don't get my dreams. I don't deserve it. I don't get love. I don't deserve it. I messed up. You can't really look at mistakes as A plus B equals C. What if we looked at it from a right brain perspective? And what I mean by that is the imagination side. What if we looked at our mistakes as, okay, how can this help me on my greater path to my purpose? How can I kind of jump inside everything that just happened and pull out some meaning from it or grow from it? That making meaning out of the mistakes that we make, even our worst ones, that's right brain stuff. Because it involves creativity. It involves taking a mess and making something beautiful out of it. It involves creativity. It involves seeing our mistake as part of something bigger. Right? It involves purpose. What if we looked at our mistakes as part of something bigger? Because here's the reality of the situation. We all want to live in a safe world, right? We all deep down just want to be loved, protected, and to just have fun together. We want to just be deep, vast, loving beings. But I think the reality is, in any universe where free will is involved, there's going to be dark energies. There's going to be evil. And sometimes those energies, those evil and dark energies, are also contributing to our worst moments. And here's what I mean about the separation piece. In addition to our subconscious and our souls and our DNA, everything we're carrying from our ancestors, there is real moving energy in all of the places that we go that can impact us. And if you don't know what I mean, think about if you've ever been in a business meeting where someone's having a bad day and they're bringing everybody down. Think about the family event where the grumpy person just won't stop talking, won't stop criticizing. People kind of walk on eggshells around them. That's an energy that they're carrying. You know what I'm talking about. The people who affect the energy of a place in a bad way. Look at the energy of our country right now, based on the leadership. The current leadership in office is affecting the energy of the country, how people are feeling, how people are acting. And this is where the other issue of separation comes in. The places that we live, the places that we love, the places that we work, there are always other energies moving around us and sometimes through us that impact our behavior. Now, I'm not trying to teach you all to say it wasn't my fault. Oh, I didn't get drunk and yell at everyone. That was the ghost in the room. Yeah, the ghost was just using me. I'm not saying that, but energy is a real thing. The places that we go and the energy that we're around does impact us and contributes to our choices. So when we have a bad reaction or we have a mistake, look at the situation. Think about work, for example. Maybe the energy at work is incredibly toxic. Maybe there's a lot of pressure there. Maybe you don't work in an environment that encourages learning. Maybe you work in a judgmental environment. That energy is going to affect you and your choices. Human beings make some of the best choices when they feel safe. Think about your family. Think about your partnership. What's the energy in that relationship and how might it be impacting you? Sometimes you might think that your relationship is just in a toxic cycle, but maybe it's not you. Maybe your partner's really struggling with something personally and they're bringing that energy into the relationship. Maybe you feel like an outcast in your family and you just feel like a loser every time you're around them. Well, maybe their energy doesn't match yours. Maybe they're people who like to sit and gossip about people and talk about who's getting married and divorced, and you like to talk about the books you're reading. Well, the energy, that gossiping energy, isn't going to feel good when you're there, and it can cause you to sometimes feel short with them. If you're a parent and your kids are running around and things are getting chaotic and you snap, it's like, well, your kids are raising the energy in the room by just being chaotic. So separation also has to do with realizing we are never on our own. We are absolutely never on our own when we react to something. the energy of the room, the energy of the place. All of that impacts our behavior. All of it impacts our behavior. So if you make a mistake, you say or do the wrong thing, remember, it's not all on you. It's also on the energy of the place that you're in. Let's say you're somebody who's trying to get sober, right? Like you're trying to stop drinking, and you're around people who are drinking and partying, and you say no 5 times that you don't want to drink with them, and they keep pushing. Oh, come on. And then on the 6th time, you give in. Now, we still have self-control. We still can always say no. But it's a lot easier to make a mistake with your sobriety and give in when you're around party energy that's pushing you. How much easier is it to not drink when you're around people who just don't drink? That energy isn't there. They're connecting with each other in other ways. So if you have a mistake that you feel like you keep on making, whether it's with your partner, whether it's with your friends, whether it's at work, check the energy of the situations. Take a step back and ask yourself, do I keep making this mistake because it's really on me? Or do they have something going on that's spilling into it? Do I keep giving in to breaking my promises to myself, breaking my sobriety because I'm around people who don't support that? I'm around this kind of party energy? Am I continuing to mess up at work because I'm working inside a judgmental culture? Maybe I need to step away from that. The world moves on energy, and I think that we've forgotten that there's always very real energetic forces just at work, coming from other human beings and coming from the earth. I think when human beings realize how powerful they actually are, how powerful your own energy actually is, you can begin to make decisions about the kind of situations you put yourself in and the energy that supports you. You also can recognize, hey, there is lots that contributes to my energy. And everything that contributes to a mistake, number one, can be learned from and should be learned from. That's literally how we evolve. But number two, all of the energy from these mistakes, it's like we can shift that into something positive and life-giving. And that's the beauty of living in a place. Because you know what? You could get really depressed about the fact that negative energy and evil energy will probably always exist. But the beauty of the situation is not only can kind and light energy, protect you, but it can change kind of this evil energy into something else. And a simple example of that is, let's say you've been in an abusive relationship and you write a book about it meant to help other people. That's changing the energy. Let's say you grew up with a parent who was an alcoholic and you choose to mentor and love kids who've also grown up in that kind of environment. That's changing and shifting energy. Somebody broke your heart because they cheated on you, and you write a song about what real love should be. That's changing energy, and it's incredibly powerful and inspiring. So when we make mistakes, focusing on the power we have to learn from it and the power we have to shift it doesn't make it seem so much like a fuck up, right? And I think we have to remember that our life isn't judged by days. Again, in this achievement-based culture, it can feel like that, right? Attendance is literally taken at school. Oh, you weren't here today? Well, you lost the grade for that day. Oh, you missed work? Oh, there goes one of your vacation days. We work on a tally system. We live in a tally system. So, of course, it feels like if we mess up, well, we lost for that day. Well, now we don't deserve this because we weren't there. That's not how it works. And to illustrate this point, I'm going to talk about the ocean. I read Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being. Fantastic book. You should definitely read it. But he had a quote in there that went like this: "There is a reason why we are drawn to gazing at the ocean. It is said that the ocean provides a closer reflection of who we are than any mirror." I'm going to read that one more time. Rick Rubin said, There is a reason why we are drawn to gazing at the ocean. It is said that the ocean provides a closer reflection of who we are than any mirror. Now, the beauty about art is it's open to interpretation. And so you can just think about that one and hopefully it will inspire you in some ways. But I'm going to give you one interpretation of that quote. How are human beings like the ocean? I believe the answer lies in our vastness, like I've been talking about this whole time. Think about the ocean. You might not know this about the ocean, but it's incredibly powerful. You know, a lot of times when we think about oxygen in the earth, we think about trees, right? That's part of what gives us our oxygen, literally what we need to breathe. Well, the ocean gives us that too. It regulates the climate, right? And it helps kind of balance, the carbon of the earth. So we have oxygen. So the ocean is essential for about 50% of the oxygen that we have on Earth. It also helps in general with climate regulation because of all of the heat that it absorbs. So it helps regulate these weather patterns and heat patterns so that we've got, balanced ecosystems and so we can all just live on this planet. It actually takes quite a bit for life to happen, more than I think we're aware of, and the ocean is responsible for a huge part of that. So the ocean literally helps the earth breathe, regulates the temperature so that we can all live here. And if you've ever looked at it, it's beautiful, right? It's powerful. It can have crashing tidal waves one day and be still the next day. And think about all of the life that it holds inside it. All of the creatures that live there. For centuries, human beings, probably longer than that, have loved to stare at the ocean because we can relate to it. It's a mirror. We are vast and life-giving, just like the ocean. We carry a whole galaxy inside us, a whole ocean's worth of memories inside of us, guiding our decisions, guiding our actions, helping us piece things together. And we can use all that we hold, all that we've learned, to put out meaning and life-giving purpose into the world. That's our memories, that's our knowledge, that's our experiences, especially our mistakes. Think about the people you relate to the most. Do you relate to the people who are only posting perfection on social media and talking about how great their life is all the time? Do you really connect with them? No, you're trying to come up with some lie or cover up so that you seem like you don't have any mess too, but you're not really connecting with them. Our mistakes are how we connect with people. I don't like talking to people who aren't willing to admit when they fucked up, because it's like, number one, I know you're lying. Number two, I want to talk to someone who gets it. The ways that we've learned are how we relate. The ways that we've dealt with our own negative energy and the negative energy of others, that's how we learn to reset. That's how we make the most powerful things. So take an argument, for example. The next time you get into an argument with someone you love, don't beat yourself up for it. Go, hey, what am I still dealing with? What am I afraid of? Because I'll tell you what, learning about, like my main issue, the reason I get into arguments with people I love is fear. Fear of abandonment. And everything I've learned from examining my own fear and arguments has contributed to my ability to want to tell the world, you're not alone. Because through looking at my own fear and arguments, I learned that I am not alone. I am profoundly connected, even when I can't feel it. We have a vastness inside us, and we are meant to learn from all of our experiences, and we can always shift and move energy. So if you made a mistake, that doesn't mean your day is done. It doesn't even mean your moment is done. It means you're stuck in some negative energy, or you have something you need to learn from. Now, how can you honor it, acknowledge it, shift it, and then make a larger purpose out of it? The ocean can carry pollution too. Obviously, the ocean and all of its power still is vulnerable to pollutants, right? It's vulnerable to toxic things. Remember that. You are like the ocean. You are vast. You are incredibly powerful. You are life-giving. And just like that powerful being, you are also susceptible to the negative energies of this world. But the ocean can also purify itself too. I don't know if you know this, but it actually can break down certain types of bacteria and microorganisms, or it uses particular types of bacteria to break down pollutants with help from the sun and use it as a source of energy. Basically, it kind of like eats, some of these harmful substances and converts them into less harmful substances. It also can deal with some of the chemical reactions that are going on, some of the chemical pollutants. It can work more with the sun to sort of transform some of these unhealthy chemicals. So the ocean, just like the human body, also has its own process for breaking down and sort of repurposing some of the pollutants inside it. Just because you make a mistake does not mean that you are not any longer a powerful human of light. The ocean is still the ocean, even when it has pollutants inside of it. The ocean is still the ocean when it's gotten caught up in the storms and the negative energy and the pollutants. You are still a powerful human being of light and love, even when you get caught up in negative energy. You are so not alone in this world. And part of the struggle of that is we do get caught up in some of the negative energies. But the beauty of it is we're also not alone. We can always connect to the oxygen. We can always connect to the sun. We can always come back to the light and shift the negative energy that pulled us down. So the next time you make a mistake, recognize the beauty of that you are living vulnerably enough to make a mistake. And recognize also the power that you have to shift that energy in yourself and in your environment, and the power you have to walk away and choose a new environment if you recognize that there's nothing that you can do to change or shift that energy. We are very much like the ocean, and who we are and our vastness does not change because we make a mistake. So I'm going to summarize kind of how to handle this. Next time you make a mistake, number 1, thank yourself for being vast. Recognize how vast you are and all the powerful memories, energies, and DNA downloads that you have that are reacting to that situation. Because just like our ancestors sent us all their shit, they also sent us the stuff that we learned to survive. They learned to survive. That's why we're here, is because they survived. So thank yourself and your ancestors for your vastness, for everything that you are able to hold in one human body. And then ask yourself, how can I shift this for something that serves me now? What do I need for something that serves me now? What do I need to live my best life? And then number 3, always connect your mistakes to your higher purpose. How does this mistake fit into something grander? How can I learn from this and apply it to a bigger life lesson that can help me and can help others? And on a final note, art is also a fantastic way to heal your subconscious. So if you've got some trauma, you've got some negative responses that just keep creeping back up, and they're ruining, your love life now, or your work life now, or your creativity now, art is a great way to heal your subconscious. Because the problem with some of our bad memories that are kind of preventing us from living the life we want to live is that they're kind of tucked away in our subconscious. We're not aware of where they are or when they're going to come out, but art is a great way to do that. For me, that's writing. And sometimes even just journaling, just whatever comes to your brain, write it down. That's starting to kind of tap into some of that subconscious, just letting things flow. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's working with your hands in your garden. That can be another great way to tap into your subconscious. But art is a fantastic way to heal. to express some of those things that have been buried in there that maybe need to come out, to process some of those things that have been buried in there and maybe need to come out. Also, get into nature. There's a shit ton of scientific research proving that even 60 minutes in nature, not connected to any electronics or music, can be incredibly healing and life-giving. Go and look at a tree and see how you are like that tree. I used to do that with my students with creative writing. I would have them pick something outside or in the room that they're in and explain how they were like that thing. And the more that you can relate to your surroundings, the more that you see how beautiful imperfect things are, the more that you don't feel like you're alone when you make mistakes, the more you don't feel like you're alone in your imperfections, the more you start to restore that connection to the earth around you and the people around you. The more that you just spend time looking for those connections, the more you see it, the more you feel it. So in addition to healing your subconscious through art, look for opportunities to see all the ways that you're connected to the earth. The trees don't sprout leaves perfectly in all the right places, but they are still giving off oxygen. And often those imperfections are what make them look beautiful or end up working, for a better purpose. We've got to get out of this perfectionist mindset that you're only successful if you don't make mistakes. If you put the right image out there, because that really isn't serving anyone. It's just a lie that makes people feel superior or above others for a little while. You are not alone in the mistakes you've made. You are so much more connected than you might be aware of right now. Mistakes are opportunities to recognize our own vastness. Mistakes are opportunities to shift energy. And you don't have to wait till tomorrow. You can start right now. Mistakes are how we connect. Mistakes mean that you were vulnerable enough. And true growth and love and connection only comes through vulnerability. You are not alone. You are connected. And you are vast. And you are certainly... I think I got cut off. I can't lose my ending. You are certainly thanked for coming.